Some things outlive us. Not the grand things we expect, not cathedrals or cities or the scattered light of distant stars, but the small, ordinary fragments. The fingerprint left on a glass. The book on the table with one corner folded down. A throw blanket that still smells faintly of someone who isn't coming back. We imagine endings as vanishings, but they never are. Every life leaves something behind, tiny proofs that we were here, dust that remembers touch, air that remembers a voice. Maybe the universe doesn't erase us. Maybe it collects us, one trace at a time, and folds those pieces into everything that comes after. Most of what we are disappears without ceremony. No one ever really notices we are gone. Time continues to march forward, jobs to work, bills to pay, with only a distant thought that someone is no longer around. Just a blip on the already too busy schedule of life. But I like to think some part stays, in matter, in memory, in meaning. Maybe the universe itself is built from leftovers, and in some quiet, unmeasured way, we are one of them. The echo of something once lost, but now found again. This is Cruz, and this week's episode is called What We Leave Behind. Science says energy can't be destroyed. It only changes form. The warmth of a hand fades from a surface, but it doesn't vanish. It moves outward, swallowed by air, converted into motion, into light. Or perhaps, into something else entirely beyond our understanding. Somewhere the heat that once left our skin is still travelling, unseen, a wave looking for somewhere new to belong. Every atom in our bodies has been somewhere before. Inside a river, a meteor, a lung, a flame. The carbon in a heartbeat might have once belonged to the trunk of a redwood, or to the spark that burned inside a dying star. When we breathe, we are inhaling the dust of everything that's ever lived, and exhaling it back into possibility. We call it science, but it's closer to a kind of memory. The universe remembering itself through endless rearrangement. Matter doesn't forget, it just trades context. It learns new languages. The air around us is crowded with ghosts of ourselves, words we once spoke, laughter diffused into molecules, fragments of thought carried off by heat. Nothing leaves cleanly, it all lingers, stitched into the fabric of what comes next. Maybe that's why silence sometimes hums, because it isn't silence at all. It's the chorus of everything still echoing. We spend our lives worrying about the marks we'll make, but maybe the marks are already there, drifting, colliding, scattering like particles in an infinite conversation. A handshake becomes humidity, a whisper becomes wind, a tear evaporates into weather halfway across the world. The physics of traces isn't about permanence, it's about participation. We are each part of the exchange, the endless translation of being into being. So maybe nothing truly belongs to us, not even our atoms. We're just borrowing the universe for a while, leaving fingerprints on its surface and watching them turn into light. Reality recycles itself endlessly, but stories are the one thing we create that doesn't ask to be remade. They're born once, and then they live in every person who carries them. Maybe that's why we write, or sing, or build worlds that will never exist beyond imagination. Not to be remembered, but to participate, to join the current, to help someone, somewhere, feel what we have felt. Every story is a trace that refuses to vanish. Every song is a heartbeat someone can find long after the pulse is gone. A film can outlive an entire century, and somehow still make someone feel something brand new. I think that's the secret artists know without ever saying aloud, that creation is the closest we get to reproduction. We give a piece of ourselves to something that might outlive us, and we send it into the world hoping it learns to stand on its own. For some people, legacy looks like a family name, a child, a lineage, a continuation of DNA and the lessons we pass on. For others, it's a single verse in a song, a sentence in a story, a photograph that outlasts the hand that took it. For some, a universe created in fiction is the closest thing to peace they will ever know. To live, breathe, and eventually turn to dust in the universes we love so much. And then the next soul will find it again, but in a different way. It's easy to believe that legacy means blood, but maybe it means impact. The kind that ripples through strangers you'll never meet. The kind that lives in how someone feels after watching the credits roll. I've never given the universe another version of me, and maybe I never will. I am still the same in every reality, in all universes. I carry the same memories and the same message I still have not been able to fully hear or pass on. But I've tried to give reality pieces of me instead. A line of dialogue, a melody I can't forget, a scene in Inception that made me cry, and still does. These are the things that outlive me. Not because they bear my name or my emotions, but because they carry my memory. That's what stories do. They pass along our souls, but disguised as language. They carry someone's private ache into a stranger's heart, and suddenly that ache belongs to both of them. Songs do the exact same thing. A 3-minute universe where everyone's pain becomes harmonic. And films, those are the closest we've ever come to time travel. Moments frozen, replayed, relived. They're how we remind ourselves that light can still move, even long after the source has gone dark. I used to think not leaving behind another me meant disappearing completely. But now I think it means I've had to love the world differently. Not through someone who carries my eyes, but through someone who carries my words, my laughter, my silence, my strange way of seeing beauty in impossible things. Maybe the things that outlive us aren't people, or names, or monuments. Maybe they're just the moments when we made someone feel less alone. Nothing in this universe is ever truly lost. Not the energy, not the stories, not the moments that made us who we are. They just change shape, trading form for feeling, motion for memory. Every breath you take in the here and now carries something ancient. Every word you speak will one day become part of someone else's sky. That's what we are. A conversation that never ends. Each of us a fragment, passed forward, rewritten, reborn. So if you ever wonder whether you've left anything behind, you have. You always have. Somewhere, your light is still traveling. Somewhere, the universe is still remembering your name. And maybe that's all we were ever meant to do. To live, to love, to leave a trace of ourselves. For the cosmos to translate for someone else who might need us tomorrow. Or 10 years from now. Or 100. And in this moment, if you're hearing this, then you've just experienced something I left behind. Something that will outlive this version of myself. Something just for you. Please check out your favourite bookstores worldwide for my book, The Zephyrus Chronicles Rebirth. The second book, Cantera, is coming soon. This is Z and Cruz, reminding you to stay close to the echo. Bye for now.